Hi everyone, this is Josh Blake and I'm at the Lake Square Mall because we are at our first ever Hurricane Awareness Expo. Now we thought it was very important to do this event because we want to keep you, your family, and your pets safe this hurricane season. Now there's a lot in store for you today, so let's join the action.
I'm Tanya from Hoffmeyer Animal Rescue, coming to you from Lake Square Mall today, where we're having our Hurricane Expo. We are giving 200 free vaccinations, 200 microchips free to community members that registered today for their pets during inclement weather.
What brought you out to the mall today?
My son is actually a big weather fan.
So maybe we should be talking to him. Come on over. So what's your name?
Max.
Max, so nice to meet you. So I hear you might want to be a meteorologist one day?
Yes. Whenever I go outside, I try to predict the weather in a little notebook that I have. I write down the date and then what the weather is.
Oh, I think that's awesome. So what question do you have for Jim when you meet him? Or are you starstruck and you really don't know what to say?
Starstruck.
Okay, I think that's safe, Max. Good luck on your career choice, and we wish you luck. I hope to see you in the future on the Weather Channel. How about that?
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
Okay.
I'm here with the veterinarian, Dr. Richard Gallo. What brings you here today?
Well, we're here today because we're doing a community outreach program where we're providing free vaccines and microchips to both cats and dogs. And this is the way we have been working for the Animal League Wellness Center, which is a nonprofit no-kill shelter. All proceeds that we make always go to them. And that way we're trying to kind of help the underserved in the community and help all the people out there that need those services. And we provide it with our clinic right here on Radio Road.
Awesome. Where can people find you? Is there a website?
Okay. The website is, I will read it, animalleaguewellness.org, and we would love to have any of your support. We love volunteers, and again, we appreciate any donations you can give. We've been here, the Animal League has been there for more than 30 years helping people, and they are all volunteers. No one gets paid over there, so they're doing a great job for our community.
We want to thank you for what you do, and thank you for being part of this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you to the Lake Square Mall's very own Hurricane Awareness Expo. It's time to get things started. Please welcome to the stage, Dr. Anna Marie.
Why, hello, everybody! We got stormtroopers, we got storm trackers in the house, and I think we got a lot of storm fans in the house also. Well, thank you so much for coming to our 2019 Hurricane Expo. I'm Dr. Anna Marie from City of Leesburg's Lakefront Television, and very proud to have been part of pulling this together along with the Lake County Emergency Team. We are 1 month into hurricane season, officially this weekend, and we are here to hopefully inspire, motivate, educate everybody in the house in regards to being storm ready, staying ahead of the storm, having a plan now so you can protect your family, your home, and your pets. Now, if you guys don't know this, on the PetSmart side of the mall, we actually right now are providing 200 microchips and vaccinations to help 200 pets in Lake County stay ahead of the storm, and we're really proud of that. So I want to thank all the animal shelters, the Animal Wellness League, PetSmart for pulling this off. We started off with 100, and in less than 8 hours, we had 200 dogs signed up. So congratulations to all you pet parents out there doing the right thing for your pets. As I always like to say, disasters, they don't plan, but we can. And I love that line. Think about that. We can plan. We have a very special guest in the house, but before we get to Jim Cantore, I really want to invite some very important people from the City of Leesburg, who were integral in making this event happen and bringing Jim Cantore to Lake County, and of course interviewing or bringing up to the stage my buddy Tommy Carpenter, who he and his team definitely protect this county along with the Leesburg Fire Department. So we got some very important folks up here first who I would like to introduce and then we'll get to Jim. Sound like a plan? All right, sounds good. I would like to first invite to the stage our city manager of the city of Leesburg, Mr. Al Minner. Come on up, Mr. Minner. Oh, and you have a oh, we have a city manager in plant training. Here you go, Mr. Minner.
Oh, wow. Hello. You just want me to say a few words?
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. It's I think today's show will be great. Help you get ready for the hurricane season. So on behalf of the City Commission, welcome and enjoy. Right? All right.
Thank you so much, City Manager. At this time, Mayor John Christian, Pastor Christian. He's the mayor of the city of Leesburg, and so happy to have you here, Mayor.
Thank you, Dr. Anna Marie, and thank you to everyone that came out this morning. Our city manager, I think he set the record for the shortest speech, so I will not try to top him, but we just want to welcome you, and please take the information in, and maybe you're not like me, because I was saying Jim Cantor, where do I know him from? I said the guy that's on the Weather Channel when the hurricanes are coming, all the wind is blowing, and you ask yourself, why is that guy outside? So he's here now in Leesburg. We get a chance to meet him, and we welcome all of you to Lake Square Mall, such a wonderful addition to Leesburg, the renovations, and we're just so excited for Jim to be in our city. God bless you, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Mayor. So, here in the city of Leesburg, our next mayor coming into term, but currently she is the commissioner, is Elise Dennison.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is a great turnout. Thank you very much. You know, you're really lucky living in the Leesburg area. We've got some of the best first responders in the state. They are trained. They are trained for everything up to and including yesterday's airplane crash, which they showed up for immediately. Nobody was seriously hurt, so it was okay. Back 2 years ago, we had a hurricane that decimated Florida. The city of Leesburg was back up and working in 3 days. Woo! So I want you to realize you've got a massive team in Leesburg helping you all out. Now it's time for you to be part of that team. The more awareness, hurricane awareness training you can get, the more likely we are not to have any fatalities or serious injuries. So please, anytime you can, prepare for these hurricanes. You know they can be bad. Thank you and enjoy today.
Thank you, Commissioner. Now I have the honor of bringing up to the stage two very important men in my life I have to deal with. We have our fire chief, David Johnson from the city of Leesburg, and of course, Tommy Carpenter from Lake County Emergency Management. Please welcome them to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you and those of our citizens and our visitors to Leesburg and Lake County. My name is David Johnson. Yes, I am the fire chief, but I also carry the hat of the emergency manager for the city of Leesburg, where I work with the Lake County emergency manager, Mr. Tommy Carpenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for making the time to be here. You're going to get great information today on how to prepare yourselves, your homes, your families, and your pets. So before we get started, let's have a little exercise. I need your help, and I want to share some quick information for you that I want you to think about while we're going through this today, while we have these phenomenal folks here and Jim Cantori. So who here was here in 2017 during Hurricane Irma? Raise your hand. Okay, let me share a fun fact with you. Ask you another question, rather. When was the last hurricane do you think that came through Lake County? We have a winner. Hurricane Donna in 1960 was the last time Lake County had a hurricane. When you look at the numbers and what makes a hurricane, you have to have 74 mile an hour and sustained winds. When we talked with the National Weather Service about Hurricane Donna, Lake County had sustained winds of 50 to 65 miles per hour. We had gusts between 70 and 85 miles per hour. I know it got stronger in some places, but in Lake County for about 25 hours, we had a strong tropical storm. In contrast, when Hurricane Michael made landfall in the Panhandle, it made landfall at 160 miles an hour. It was essentially a tornado the size of a hurricane. So when you listen today and you hear what Mr. Cantori has to say and all this great information that's here, think about that. Think about, for the folks that were here during Irma, what you actually lived through. How long were you without power? How long were you without those conveniences of life? And just know that we really didn't get a strong hurricane. So thank you all for being here today. I hope you get some great information. And if you have any questions, I'll be at the table with Lake County Emergency Management right next to our Animal Services folks. Say hi, Melanie. And we'll be happy to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You know, we do have some great vendors in the house. Of course, Lake County Emergency is over there. They actually have Alert Lake. If anybody hasn't signed up yet, you could actually sign up today. Alert Lake is an automated system, so if severe weather is coming into the area, they actually will alert you via your cell phone or smart pad, whatever. So stop by Alert Lake and get signed up today. Of course, Animal Services is here to educate you on keeping your pets healthy. Down the PetSmart end, we have Tim Proctor from The Walking Dead is here. He's actually an animal illustrator. So if anybody's here that wants to actually commission him to do an animated or illustration of your pet, he's giving part of his proceeds today to the local shelters. Also down there we have Hollywood Animal Training. Now, this is a fact I just found out this week. There is a woman that moved here to Eustis, to Lake County. Her husband is one of the directors from Grey's Anatomy. And she actually uses the Lake Square Mall. She's actually using it right now to train a yellow lab from Miami for an upcoming movie. So please stop down and see her. She's awesome. And she might be able to help you with your dog sit, stay, and be obedient. Who knows, right? So please stop by Red Cross, Salvation Army, Leesburg Fire Department. Please stop by. In the Tiki Hut, we have our friends here from Via Entertainment. We have a new escape room, 2 escape rooms opening up here at the mall. Laser tag is opening, adrenaline rush, bowling, and they are also handing out some cute little emergency flashlights. So please stop by. They are for free. So Jim Cantori, the can man, we like to call him. Jim and I worked together. I had the honor of working for the Weather Channel 10 years of my life. I did their weather health reports for them, Dr. Anna Marie, and it's actually how I found Lake County. I was down here shooting a segment for Be Weather Ready, and I was filming in Lake County, and I was like, you know what? This is a great part of Florida. It's close to the attractions, it's close to the beach. It looks kind of like, sort of like Kentucky with the rolling hills of the oak trees. So I moved my herd of horses down here, and I'm really proud to say I've been a resident here since 2010, and very honored to be with the city of Leesburg, managing their lakefront television. We are on Prism 21, we're on Comcast or Xfinity 22. We are now available on Roku and Apple devices, and we're also on Spectrum 497. And if you say, I don't have any of those, then go to lakefronttv.com or leesburgflorida.gov, and it'll also get you to our channel. So when I reached out, I knew we were going to be doing this Hurricane Expo. I reached out to Jim. I like to call him a friend and fellow colleague, weather colleague. And he's like, Doc, that's great. I want to come down. I'm all about educating people about being storm ready. He's very, very passionate about it. He also wanted to stop by because he heard about some of the recognition of the Leesburg, our electric department, in regards to being recognized. They don't only help with power issues here locally, they have responded around the country, around the state, to help other cities in regards to getting back their power back and helping out in those emergency situations. So he took a tour yesterday. So we actually, Jim, come to the stage. Are you in the house? Where are you, Jim? I think he's here. I'm going to need to get the stormtroopers to get him to the stage. But anyway, he was so passionate and so impressed by our electric department that he kind of did a twist to today's show. So we actually have another extra guest here to be able to talk about. There he is. Come on up here, Jim.
Wow. Wow.
I can still talk.
Unbelievable. Great.
Well,
thanks everybody.
So here's this is really interesting. It's going to be how many years? You're kind of cloudy about this. July 13th, 14th. You're
I can't remember the date. It's when you go 34 years at the same place, it's like, did I come in on the 13th or the 14th?
Yes.
Anyway, either way, I start my 34th year.
34 years with the Weather Channel, right?
That's
That's
crazy.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've
Had
covered
a good life.
98 hurricanes.
So 98 storms.
98
Whether they be
storms.
depressions or storms
Could you
or
name them all?
hurricanes. Yeah. There you go.
Well, listen, before we do our sit-down chit-chat, I want to invite to the stage. You were really impressed by our electric department yesterday, weren't you?
Very impressed. Very impressed by. It seemed like as soon as I walked in the door, these were family. These guys,
Yes.
and they've been to hell and back, putting lines back after storms, and they wanted to share that with me. And
Awesome.
It was interesting. I learned something yesterday that I thought, you know what, this would be great to pass along to you guys, especially if you have a generator or are considering putting a generator in. So
Right.
that's why I said, you know what, let's have those guys come out with us today.
That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, you can have a seat. I'm going to, at this time, I want to step off the stage, but I'm going to ask Greg Davis from the electric department to come to the stage, and you guys can have a little bit of a chit-chat. Sound like a plan? And then
Sounds
I'll
like
join
a
you.
plan.
Sounds great. Here we go, Greg.
All right. So Greg is one of the fine men that I met yesterday at the electric company, and he was, yeah. And you know what? Think about it. When you've lost power, this is just one of the guys that gets it back up and running for you. But we were talking about generators, and he was saying, you know, it's a little bit more than just starting up either a portable generator or even a whole house system, which a lot of people are going to these days. Because let's face it, here in Leesburg, if you ever had a Michael storm that came in just north of Tampa or on the east side or on Cape Canaveral, if it moved in the right direction, you would get 100-mile-an-hour winds here. There'd be tremendous tree damage. There'd be a loss of power. That's your big threat here. It's not the ocean so much as it is the power loss. But you can get that with severe thunderstorms or even tornadoes. So I'm sure a lot of you either have or consider a generator. But Greg was telling me that once you start a generator and put that line or feed that line back to your house, there's a chance that you may be powering some down power lines that are away from your house and putting people in danger. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay, you know, some of the houses, the newer homes, have a main disconnect on the outside, but a lot of the older ones don't. And you really have no way to separate from the utility voltage. A lot of people are trying to backfeed their generator through the dryer plug or something
Through their
like that.
dryer. Okay.
Well, the transformer works both ways. If you feed it 7,200 volts in the top, 120, 240 out, then you put 120, 240 in, that transformer puts 7,200 volts back out. So it can energize the power lines laying on the ground, and then it puts our people at risk that are trying to get the restoration process. Not just the linemen, but the people that are doing the push and stuff, trying to open the roads.
And you told me that you've actually been out on situations where that has been the case.
We've had that happen multiple times.
All right, so it happens far too often. What can we tell these folks that are considering a portable or a whole house, what they need to do to not allow that to happen?
Right. Well, the first thing you should do is have a licensed electrician come out and help you with your installation. This is an auto transfer switch for a whole house disconnect. This is probably the most recommended thing because you don't do anything. It does everything automatic. The power goes out. This sees the voltage is gone. It cranks the generator. It transfers it to the generator. When the power comes back on, it transfers right back. You don't even have to get out of your chair. That's the preferred method, and that usually comes with a whole house generator.
So when you are talking about someone installing, what do you say to him or her that comes out to do the installation? We have to have a
automatic transfer switch.
Automatic transfer switch.
Right.
Okay.
Now they do make, this is a smaller version. This is a manual transfer switch. And
you want to hold it?
Yeah. Basically, it's just a two position. It's just a two position. The utility's on the top. The generator feeds in the bottom, and you just flip the handle to which one you want. And that's what you can use with a portable generator. That's what the NEC asks for you to do, to have a transfer switch, whether it's manual or automatic. But a lot of people are selling devices where you can backfeed through the dryer and different things like that. It's really not the preferred method to do that.
All right.
This is basically a typical type panel you'll find on the outside of your house. And it'll have a big breaker right at the top that says service disconnect. That's where you disconnect from utility voltage. But there are some cases where this is not the main. I know in Sumter County years ago, they made them feed it backwards. So if you had a fire, you could shut the breaker off and it would kill the power to the mobile home, but the well breaker would be down here, so your well would still operate to fight the fire. So just because it has a main breaker doesn't actually mean that is a service disconnect. So you'd want a licensed electrician to come out and do that. So it's better safe than sorry.
Yeah, and you know what? These guys that are putting your power back on, you may save one of their lives as well by doing it the right way. So just by show of hands, how many of you have either a portable or a whole house generator? Oh yeah, this is good. How many of you are thinking about a portable or a whole house generator? And it's not because I'm here today. We don't have a storm coming. All right, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So remember those things that Greg's told us about today, because I think that was really important. And I thought it was just great going out there and learning that from him. And I said, we have to pass this on to people, especially given the fact that when hotlines go back out, that's a danger to pets. It's a danger to kids that are out. Anybody, even doing yard debris or cleaning up. Right. You know, there's a wire mixed in with a tree. You're out there with a chainsaw. And
well, it protects your house too, because if the power does come back on and you're not separated from utility, now you're putting utility voltage on the generator, which will blow your generator up and could possibly burn your house down. So the life you save could be your own.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg. We appreciate that. All right, guys, give it up for Greg in the City of Leesburg
Thank you so much,
Electric
Greg.
Department.
Thank you.
Awesome stuff.
All right, Jim. Jim, let's pull the chairs
We're
up.
going to sit this one out?
Yeah, I'm going to sit this one out. Because you could talk. I'm not sure who talks more, you or me.
Okay.
We got a phone call in the house yesterday from, do you want some water or anything? You good?
I'm good.
So I got a phone call yesterday from guess who?
Well, that's a loaded question.
Come on.
The president? No, I don't know who.
I'll give you a hint. Weather Channel.
From the Weather Channel.
The guy that you'd love to, you guys kind of battle it out for some of the best, hottest,
Oh, that would be Mr. Mike Bell.
Don't be surprised if Mike Seidel from the Weather Channel doesn't show up, because he was so jealous you're in Leesburg.
Mike's a great guy. He's as passionate a weather guy as I know. But I'll never forget the time I was up at my cabin in North Georgia, and I turn around the corner and I'm like, Seidel, what are you doing here? Oh, I was in the neighborhood. So yeah, you're right.
I heard that you guys used to take bets out on me, so if I snorted live on the camera, you guys used to take bets that I would snort. Is that true?
We did. and I'm up 10-1 right now. There it is. There it is.
I've gotten older. I have to use glasses now.
Me too.
No. So welcome to Leesburg. What do you think about Leesburg and Lake County?
Listen, I grew up in small town America. I grew up in Vermont. And, our football team were the Hartford Hurricanes. How sweet is that? So it was meant to be. But I just, everybody knows everybody. That can be good and bad, as you guys know. But it's just, everybody wants to help everybody.
Right.
And I certainly, like I said, when I walked in to the Leesburg Electric Department yesterday, I mean, I could just tell.
Well, you know what's really cool? I'm not sure when it's going to air, but I understand, I was there, and we actually filmed a public service announcement. Because you had an interesting question in regards to, reporting storms. And we actually filmed a public service announcement, not just for Lakefront TV, but I understand you're going to use it for the Weather Channel. So the City of Leesburg's Electric Department is going to make it to the Weather Channel.
How about that? We're putting you on the map, Leesburg. And actually, the Atlanta Journal and Constitution put Leesburg on the map a couple weeks ago, didn't they, with an article?
We were the safest city. Did you guys know that the city of Leesburg is actually nominated one of the safest cities when it comes to hurricanes to live in the country, or in the state, I should say?
Yeah. Yes. So, but here's what I want to say about that. They based that article on storms of the past. So, in other words, you've been lucky. If you had a storm, like I said, that came in, a Michael-type storm, probably north of Clearwater Beach and cut across, or Cape Canaveral and came across that way, of that strength, you'd probably have 100-mile-an-hour winds here. All right, so your issue, again, like we talked about with Greg, was power. All right, you can get that with tornadoes. They're certainly possible here. You can get it with what we call wet microbursts, storms that collapse right over the top of you and produce strong winds. They can be even worse than a tornado.
Wow. And the funny thing is, you know, I moved to Florida in 2010 when I found my farm down here, filming for the Weather Channel. And when I saw that stat, I said, woohoo, I'm lucky. You know, it's really interesting in the sense of, as you said, things are changing, and building code is so important to you because storms are changing, the climate is changing, the world is changing.
Well, Andrew set the bar for you in the state when it occurred back in 1992, which, by the way, was my first hurricane. I didn't cover the Florida landfall, but it went over the Gulf and came back up into Louisiana, and I was in Baton Rouge for the first landfall. So that was number 1 of 98, by the way. So you can thank, you know, a lot of hard work for people to push these codes through. And remember, though, when you do build your house to code, that is the minimum required. All right? So if you want to be sure to not have 120 mile per hour winds or 100 mile an hour winds, you probably have to build above code. And I'm talking from the top down, shingles all the way into the walls, to the windows. You have to make sure you kind of tie that building together, because once you lose the roof or a window or a garage door, which people don't realize, you really have to brace that garage door. It's one of the weakest links in your house. You get that air in there and it wants to get out, and it's going to go out either windows or the roof. And once you get the water in, then we start talking about mold. Our good old friend mold, which nobody wants to talk about.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it's funny being a Floridian now, and how many people basically will have the hurricane parties, or they take it lightly. Any special message to those folks out there just saying, I've been through it, done it?
If you're thinking about upgrading your house, there's this wonderful woman I met years ago. Her name is Leslie Chapman Henderson. She works for the Federal Alliance of Safe Homes. Okay, flash.org is their website, and you can literally go on that website and see what to do to make your home a little bit more prepared for a hurricane. And, you know, if you're building from scratch, could it be 5 up to 15% of what the cost of the home would be? Yes. But to know that you're going to be able to come back to something and not have to deal with the mold and other things like that, especially with most storms that you'll deal with here, I think that's a comfortable feeling and certainly worth every penny.
You know, when we put it out there that you were coming to Leesburg, coming to Lake County, we started getting all these funny messages like, who's the crazy lady? Who's the folks that basically invited Jim Cantore to come to the area?
Oh, come on, guys. I'm not that
Hurricane and Jim Cantore seems to go, it's like synonymous. So you guys are like, go hand in hand. Has anybody done a T-shirt saying, Jim's coming, get out?
No, you know, it's really funny. I went to the beach one time, and we had done our coverage, and I don't know, I went to a restaurant or something, and this guy walks in with a T-shirt with an image of my face on it and like the no smoking circle and line through it. And I'm like, where did you get that? He said, oh, this guy's selling a ton of them down the road. I'm like, oh, great. Do I get a cut in that? No. But well, I thought that was funny.
I had a little taste of that. I mean, like I said, you covered the serious storms. I did the weather health reports. But I used to hate traveling like with anything Weather Channel gear, because they're like, oh my God, is there a storm coming? And I had a little taste of that, so I can't even imagine.
Yeah, so my producer's name is Steve. And Steve likes to wear his Weather Channel jackets when we go out to dinner during the wintertime. And I'm like, Steve, please don't do that.
No.
Because
it draws the wrong attention.
People are going to ask us every question manageable.
We do have
about the storm, and I don't mind. I know it's the part of it, but
yeah.
Sometimes I like to go in incognito, you know.
So a lot of folks were asking in the sense of, meteorologists, do you play it up? Do you play it up when you're out there?
You know what? I've always told. I've told people this for years. I don't hype the weather. I've never been asked to hype the weather. Mother Nature speaks for herself. All right, and I think one of the best things that I can do for people, especially on the beach with businesses, is if the storm's not going to be that bad and it's going to blow through by the time the weekend rolls around, I'm going to be like, look, don't cancel your weekend plans. This thing's going to come in. It's going to be a light brush. You should enjoy the weekend's going to be beautiful here. The storm's going to be gone. Because a lot of times people, will start canceling their plans. And granted, there are some times then that should happen. No question. But I'll tell you that. If we want you off the beach for the whole weekend and your 4th of July or Labor Day is ruined, I'll be the first one to tell you that.
You're passionate about weather, and it started at a young age. Do you want to kind of share that little story with folks? Because something interesting I found out about you was you went to Linden College?
Linden State College in Northeast.
And right out of college, you went right to the Weather Channel.
Yeah, I still don't know how that happened. Sometimes, a blind squirrel gets a nut. That was my nut. But my My dad recognized in me when I was a senior in high school that I loved the weather. I was always outside playing in it. Even when it was raining, pouring, I would be out there soaked and shoveling the driveway for my mother to go to work. I would leave the barn light on to see the first flakes with the pending snowstorm. I just couldn't wait. I couldn't sleep at night. Because, of course, with snow, always came that chance that there'd be no school the next day. So there was a method to my madness. But he just said, he goes, son, look. He goes, you got to work for the next 50 years of your life. You got to get up every morning and go to work. Love what you do.
And you love it.
Love what you do. And I do love what I do.
I know you do.
So.
What was the first major storm event that you covered?
Andrew.
Andrew was it?
Yeah,
Huh?
Andrew was the second landfall of Andrew in Baton Rouge. And I'll never forget it because, we had finished coverage for the night. And so I went up. This was the old hotel rooms with the air conditioning units in the windows. And all of a sudden, at about 4 o'clock in the morning, my window unit blew right in on the floor.
Wow.
And so I'm up 16 floors, and I'm just like, holy smoke. I look outside that window, there's transformers, popping everywhere. It's like a light show out there. It's like the 4th of July. And so I call my producer downstairs. I'm like, Simon, we got to go live. This thing's coming in. And so that was really my first taste of it. And we did some great broadcasts. We were up before the networks. That was probably one of the earliest times we were on the Weather Channel before we started going all night with storms like that. So that was a wild first one.
And then I'm going to say the name, which I think really affected you in the sense of storm-wise, Hurricane Katrina. That name, right?
Yeah.
How did it impact you in a sense of emotionally? Because you're out there, you're kind of in the moment. What goes through your mind? Do you ever feel fearful?
When you guys all have jobs, you know what your job entails. You know the good parts of it, the bad parts of it. But Katrina was above the rest. In terms of the storm surge, it came in so much earlier than we expected. You're talking about 30 feet of water rise. 30 feet, which is just unthinkable, with waves on top of that, and it just lasted forever. I saw cars, wind-driven cars in a pile, boats once the water receded in the third-story buildings of hotels. Just something you would see on a movie set, not a real live situation. So that was Mississippi after Katrina in 2005. And a lot of the attention, of course, went to New Orleans because of the man-made disaster of the levee failures. So Mississippi has often been the forgotten coast, and I will never forget them because that was a hurricane, because of its size and because of its storm surge, literally changed that entire coast forever. But it's beautiful now. They have come back wonderfully down in Mississippi.
Storms have changed, our climate's changing. How about the technology? 34 years ago, and now as a meteorologist, how is the technology changing in the sense of the reporting and getting
a
better?
lot of times now we have these high-resolution models that update every hour. You can literally see details on the thunderstorms. And I know as a meteorologist, oh wow, this looks like it's going to be a hail situation, or it looks like it could be tornado outbreak and things like that. So the resolution of the models is great. As a matter of fact, one of those high-resolution models was one of the first to predict Michael to go to a 5.
Wow.
But unfortunately, I was already down on the coast, and I was thinking when I left 4 days before the storm that it was only going to be a 2. But then you start looking, you're like, oh wow, the water's warm. It's about 4 to 6 degrees above what it should be. If the shear doesn't hit it, what's going to stop it from developing?
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. Nothing
Wow.
stopped it, and it came in.
Wow. How's the season looking so far for Florida? Any predictions? How's the year?
Right now it's all about the Saharan dust.
Yeah.
All right, which if you guys, sometimes you'll look up in the sky, looks a little milky during the day, or, and this was last week, really, when it was best concentrated over you guys, or the sunsets seem to be a little enhanced, a little brighter, a little orange, a little more red or pink. It's because of the Saharan dust. And when that comes across from Africa, and you get huge surges of that, especially this time of the year, you stabilize the basin. So it doesn't allow the thunderstorms to build up, and you need thunderstorms to eventually get a hurricane. And so when you have a stable Atlantic basin, nothing's happening. But here's the deal. It can be quiet for the first couple weeks of July, and one of the things I will tell you after almost 34 years is it's like a switch goes off. It's just like a switch goes on, and the whole basin starts to change. So that's why we always tell everybody to be ready now. Like I said, your issues here are with the wind, a Michael-type storm coming in at the perfect angle. You would easily get 100-mile-an-hour gusts here and tremendous wind damage. So hopefully that'll never be the case. All right.
What are some of the nitty-gritty things, folks? I know we have all these great experts here, but Jim Cantori, in the sense of the nitty-gritty, what do you recommend to folks listening out there in the sense of...
So here's what I was telling everybody yesterday. I mean, and I was thinking about this even myself. When you get that insurance policy and it's about this thick, and you start reading it, it's in lawyer speak, and it's very difficult to understand. You have every right to call your insurance adjuster before a storm and say, am I really covered? Do I have what I need if, God forbid, I ever have to file a claim to get back on my feet? All right, and that's oftentimes when I go back to storms after a year, there's still insurance companies fighting over, was this flood, was this wind, blah, blah, that kind of thing. And that's certainly more of an issue on the coastline. But know what your policy covers. You have every right to call your adjuster, especially given the premiums that you're paying. So give them a call, say hello, get to know them. And once you have that conversation, I would take your iPhones or your whatever phone you have and go out and just videotape your stuff.
Videotape it.
I mean, it'll take 5 minutes of your time to go out. Here's my stuff. So now you have proof that this was in fact your house. This is where it looked. This is where it was in the house. If you ever get water in it or you lose the roof, it's always nice to have that proof.
Sounds good. Well, before we get to I actually have some questions, and we will open it up to the audience, but I do have some questions that folks send in through Facebook, email.
Okay.
You don't mind that, do you?
No, not at all.
But before we,
that's what we're here for.
34 years, I mean, and believe me, guys, you hear how he's sitting up here talking to me? I'll never forget when we did the upfronts. We would go out in these events to meet advertisers and stuff, right? And I would sit in the car and I'd have Paul Goodloe, Mike Seidel, Kelly Cass, Jim Cantori, and they're sitting there, and these guys love weather.
Yeah, so we're still. Her point is we're still talking about weather, even though we're at a function. It's supposed to be fun, but we live, eat, breathe weather. I mean that's it. We're passionate about it. Like yesterday, I was at dinner. I was looking at the radar.
Yep.
So
we walked into the Leesburg electric department, and you were blown away because they had a whole big screen. They were watching the Weather Channel.
That was awesome. They had the Weather Channel on, and I learned something. There's another thing I learned yesterday that. We're the go-to. Yeah. And that's really cool to be the go-to. People are relying on you to give great weather information and provide a service. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, the most incredible thing about my job is to know that I go to work every day providing a service that helps people. That's a wonderful motivator. So when that alarm goes off at 3:15 a.m.,
I know.
I think a little bit about that.
Well, next time
it gets me out of bed. I don't hit the snooze button. I get out of bed.
Next time you come back, though, I have to take you over to Tommy Carpenter. He has to give you a tour of the Lake County emergency also because, and the fire department, everybody, our county, we should be very appreciative of our city and our county and the technology we have.
And guys, when we have our meetings, meteorologists, emergency managers, especially the hurricane conference, those guys are out there with us. So we're all on the same page. So when they issue an evacuation order, know that isn't just something they're whipping out. They've consulted with the National Weather Service. They've consulted with the National Hurricane Center. If there's an evacuation order given, I promise you it's because of in-depth research of what's going to happen and what could happen, especially regarding storm surge. So we're all in this together, as you know, Tommy. We're all on the same team.
Yes, we are. So congratulations and thank you to all the folks that keep us safe here in Lake County and in the area. Okay, so the first person is Kim Sporito.
These are the Facebook questions?
These are the Facebook questions. Have you ever been outside covering a hurricane and actually thought to yourself, oh my God, I am in real danger, get out of here right now? Or are you so focused on your job, you don't feel danger at that moment?
I'm very focused on my job, second part. The worst situation I was ever in was Katrina. When the storm surge came in early, we had been traveling forever. All of my photographers and satellite truck operators had everything out in the parking lot near our live shot. So as this water literally, I'm telling you guys, it came up probably 15 feet in about 5 minutes. It was unbelievable. It really was like a
Wow.
wall. So now their cars are underwater with their equipment in it.
Wow.
So they're out there scrambling and trying to move the car. The water's still coming in and up. That was the scariest moment for me because my team went back out where we had no right of being at that time. But everybody was fine
Wow.
at the end of the day. But that was the scariest part for me, without a doubt.
Patricia O'Connell said, Mr. Cantore, has a hurricane ever truly surprised you? Like, were you in the middle of a shoot? Were you out there and something came by and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming?
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of answer that.
So back to, you saw the wood 2x4 come out with Michael. It was kind of whizzed by my face. But what you didn't see was we were out there for another shot during actually Florence and Michael, or actually Katrina. Florence, I had one of those air vents that sits on the top of a building, landed between me and my producer. And I looked over at him, I said, Steve, this is why we wear a helmet out here. You don't see it coming, it's blinding rain, but this is why we wear a helmet out here.
I know, wow.
And during Katrina, somebody 2x4 or whatever they put, not 2x4, but the particle board, there you go, that they put on their windows came ripping off and all of a sudden I'm hearing in the air this, it landed on a pylon, a parking pylon, literally, and kept spinning around. And I'm just like, okay, we're going in. We're going in. That's it. We're done. We're done.
Oh.
But you just can't imagine what's flying around out there. It's really amazing.
So your
aluminum
boss
fascia, shingles, palm fronds. I mean, all these things are flying around, and literally the only time you notice it is when it's at your feet or close by you. And it's too late by that time.
I bet some folks are thinking in the sense of your bosses send you out in these kind of conditions. How do your loved ones, your family, I mean, you have children, I mean, how they feel when dad goes out
I
to
tell
do
them
storms?
not to watch. It's just too hard to watch. I mean, obviously they're worried about dad, but they know it's my job. It's what I have to do. It's my mission. So that's what I'm going to do to the best of my ability. So.
Very good. Catherine Morton, Mr. Cantore, she's actually a 5th grade science teacher here locally. After your years of experience as a meteorologist, what is your biggest piece of advice for my students regarding the weather?
I'll tell everybody what my dad told me. Love what you do. If you got a kid out there that's in love with the weather, can't stop looking at the sky, watching the Weather Channel all the time.
Yeah. We actually have some students here from Lake Sumter that are actually meteorology students, so I hope we get
Is that right?
Yeah.
This is what you want to go study in college? Go do it. There's so many avenues. There's TV, obviously. There's the National Weather Service. There's modeling, all sorts of things that you can take that career. And of course, climate. There's not a 4-year degree in climatology, but you get your climate with your meteorology degree, and then you go on and do climate studies afterward if that's what you want to do. Weather is 10 seconds to 10 days. Climate is 10 days to 10 billion years. All right, so I've had to along the way learn a little bit about certainly the climate system and how it works, and I have my my feelings on both sides of the fence. I'm not too far left with it. I'm not too far right with it. I think there's a lot of things we don't know, but the Earth is definitely warmer. So are the oceans. It is raining harder because of the fact that warm water holds more, or warm air holds more water vapor. It's really that simple. So are we driving it? I don't know, maybe to an extent. I certainly think humans have a role in that, but I don't know what extent. So I can't tell you where I'm at with that, because as confident as I am that we may get some thunderstorms this afternoon, I'm not as confident in telling you what role or how much of a role we're playing, but I think it's some. I just don't know how much.
Okay. Now, that same teacher, actually her father is 70 years old. He doesn't have a Facebook account, but he came from
Good for
Cape
him.
Cod. I know, good for him, right?
Right,
His
yeah.
name is Richard Morton. He spent most of his life growing up in New England, and he asked, Mr. Cantore, growing up on Cape Cod, I've been always fascinated by thunder snow. Could you please explain what thunder snow is?
Well, I had this little incident back in 2015. I was in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I would talk. Thunder snow is a part of a winter storm where you have such a dynamic process going on that the same thing that causes thunderstorms like we have here, all right, is happening above the cold air. So instead of rain, you get torrential snow and muffled thunder from
Wow.
what is probably a pink-purple flash. But they are, in fact, ground stroke lightning. I mean, you're getting cloud-to-ground lightning strokes in those, which is kind of amazing. But it's really a dynamic process that goes on. It's not, I don't think it's as rare as we once thought it was, but it's rare to be in the right place at the right time. So to get those kind of flashes, that kind of snow intensity, I kind of went a little crazy. I had a little weather moment there for myself up in Plymouth.
Everybody, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all of our honored guests that were here to be part of this and for everything that you guys do.
I think I'm speaking on everybody's behalf, though. It's great seeing you today, Jim, but please don't come back in the summer, right? There you go.
If anybody has Eventbrite tickets, come down to the Lake Sumter room. We're going to be doing a meet and greet. And thanks so much, Jim. Great to see you. It's been 10 years.
Thank you for having me.
It's awesome. All right. Wait. I think you have some stormtroopers taking you down. Woohoo! Thank you, everybody.
Hey, this is Josh, and I'm here with Jim Cantori from the Weather Channel. We are so excited that you're here with us. What did you think of this event?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I really couldn't believe how many people came out. Had great questions about weather, and like I said, I grew up in small town America, so it's kind of cool. It's really cool to be out here.
I love seeing the support and the love from the people, your fans, and what they think of just the draw. What do you
Josh,
think
I'm a meteorologist. I'm a meteorologist. I'm not like an actor or anything like that. But yeah, I just think that. Like I said, the Weather Channel's been a service for so many years. We've been in people's homes for so long. We're kind of like family a little bit. So that's what it feels like. But an event like today, where we got Greg from the power company to talk about how to properly hook up a generator, I mean, that could save people's lives. The fact that you're chipping dogs. Getting what a great event. I mean, I think every town should do this.
That's awesome.
Either just a reminder, hey, it's hurricane season, and these are kind of some of the things we need to do and prepare for hurricane season. I just think every town should do this.
It's super important.
Yeah.
Yep. Keep
this
everyone
is a pretty
safe.
cool place to do it in, too.
We agree.
I can't wait to hit the racetrack later.
That's right.
Dr. Anna Marie.
That's right.
Best out of 3?
What do you think? Yeah, come on in here. Come on in.
Wait a second.
What do you have to say?
What do you have to add?
What do you think of the mall? Pretty awesome,
I
right?
think it's incredible.
You're putting him on the spot now.
She already made me go shopping last night. But I loved the shirts that I bought. At Emmanuel's.
Right,
So I loved the shirts. She thought I wasn't dressed up enough, so I thought I needed to buy some higher-end shirts. So I did.
Well, welcome to Leesburg, and we're
It's
really
great.
honored to have you here.
We really are.
You have a bunch of
Thank
fans
you.
out there waiting to see you. So
And you're taking their time. So
right.
yeah,
We need to let them have a chance, right? Thank you again.
Let's say it one more time. Wait. Remember, it's hip to be at the square. Ready?
It's hip to be at the square.
That's right. That's
Dun,
right.
dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Here at the Animal League Wellness Center, and I'm here with Richard Gallo, Dr. Richard Gallo, right? Because Chewy needs to be microchipped, isn't that correct?
Very important. With the microchip, you're able to find them wherever he is. Whatever star system he's in, you'll be able to trace him with this one microchip.
Now, Doctor, he's very nervous. Is there something that we can comfort him with?
Well, I want you to just pat his paw. That's right. And you can tell him, Josh, you tell him, it's okay, Chewy.
Okay, it's going to be
Look
okay.
that way.
Look at me.
Look that way.
Look at me.
1, 2.
See? It's done.
As you know, we're here at the Hurricane Expo at the Lake Square Mall, and I actually met Tim Proctor at our Comic-Con several months ago, and thank you for coming out today. I really do appreciate you being here. It's all about the animals. Tell folks a little bit, you are basically an actor zombie from The Walking Dead.
Yes.
I've been playing walkers for about 5 years now, so I've submitted for 2 years trying to get on the show. And then
But he's not here as a zombie today. He's here showing off. How do you do this? I actually asked Tim when I met him at our Comic-Con. I saw his artwork, his illustrations, and I'm like, I want to capture my black lab, my guide dog flunky Emlyn, and capture that because I'm just amazed. It's just so realistic.
well, I mean, it's my pleasure to be here, first of all, and I appreciate you having me here. But yeah, I've been doing the pet portraits for a while now, too, and it's kind of exploded. You know, I started doing them for about 8 years after I got out of art school. I didn't do a lot of art, and I started doing pet portraits. But then I branched off doing like sketch cards, and now I'm coming back into doing more pet portraits, and now it's almost 90% of what I do. So.
And we would appreciate it because you actually gave part of your proceeds today to the local shelter, so that was very, very nice. So anyway, so I'm anxious to see Emlyn. I sent you several pictures. I couldn't pick the picture, so I asked him to pick the perfect one. So was it hard to do Emlyn's picture?
No.
Because she is black. She's a black lab, and it's really hard to capture those eyes.
Right, and you want to, the highlights are important too, like trying to get all the highlights in the fur, and so hopefully you like it.
All right.
You haven't seen it yet.
No, I haven't. So I'm kind of nervous about this. So, all right, Colby, you ready? You got the camera ready? Oh, no, you could open it. You could open it. I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to try not to cry because I know I'm going to get emotional because I love this dog. Emlyn, I applied for Emlyn in 2009. I'm going to be covering this with video. I was up filming a special for the Guiding Eyes for the Blinds back in 2009. At the time, my black lab was having some health issues, and I found out that they actually had some guide dogs that they didn't have any medical problems. They just couldn't make the cut to be a guide dog, a service dog. So I put the application in 2009. 2014, when my lab was about to pass away, I got a phone call from Guiding Eyes saying, your name is up. We have an 8-week-old black lab puppy by the name of Emlyn. Emlyn is Welsh, which means to strive for, to excel. But the funny thing is, she didn't strive to be a guide dog. So she's now my companion pet. And anyway, I'm ready. There she is, Emlyn.
It always makes me nervous.
Oh my God. You captured her eyes so well.
The color of the eyes were amazing. Like, you know, because it's...
I love it, and you signed it, and I'm going to cherish
I'm
this.
going to do the full signature on the back because it's so.
Tim Proctor capturing your furry kid on wood. Check it out, Tim Proctor.